All right, so today's Sunday, and it was one of those days that was meant to be Sunday fun day, and it started off like that, and then it took a little turn. So for me, I think I mentioned yesterday, this is one of those packages where you have to sit through the timeshare proposal in order to get, a very discounted rate. And it was worth it to me to do it in this case because I was renting, or I did rent, a 2-bedroom, suite, condo, whatever you want to call it, so that I could bring my 2 adult children and my son-in-law, and we could have enough space to not be up under each other. So I thought. And I tried to schedule this appointment for as early in the morning as possible so it wouldn't cut off the middle of my day. We had, oh, there goes my son. We had ended up being a 2-hour appointment. It was booked for 2 hours. I was hoping it really wasn't going to be 2 hours, but it was. But it was actually an interesting conversation because I had been doing some looking into whether or not I'd be interested in a timeshare for a couple of reasons. It's not always a good investment. It's not really an investment that you expect to make like equity in and all that kind of a thing. But it could maybe, for the most part, level out how much you spend on your vacations if you know you like to vacation at a certain price point or at a certain level of quality or luxury, whatever you want to call it. And so I was interested in it. I was also interested in it to hear what my options would be in case, with everything that's going on in the world here, if you just need to bounce for a little bit just to get away for a minute, what are the options with that? And in this case, it's a Hilton brand, and apparently you can go anywhere in the world currently except for Russia and China. I don't have to say more about that at this moment. And so, it's interesting because they've also bought up some other chains, and then they also have some reciprocity with other chains, including Marriott, which I didn't know. And so then it got a little bit more interesting because I'm like, well, you're not limited to, this 20 places or even this 100 places. There's places all over the world. And, if I'm going to consistently use something that's equivalent to a 2-bedroom suite or a villa or this or that, how much would it cost me? And I did a lot of cost comparing and, okay, give me all the charges. Let me see how much this would really cost me every month or every year. And then, look at it versus how much it would cost me to just book it rack rate from whatever you could find at the time of booking, and, whatever additional benefits there were. And honestly, the basic pricing on stuff did not impress me. What they did do or what they're doing currently, and maybe that's something they do all the time, I don't know, but they were offering quite a few more points, about 10 times more points, a little more than 10 times more points than the level I was looking at buying. So, if you have X number of points for a year and you spend them how you spend them to pay for whatever vacation you're going to pay for, then this would be like an additional bonus of, however many thousand points on top of that, which equated to more than 10 times what I would use in a year. And then you'd have 7 years to use up these extra points on top of the points that you're using. So in effect, you get some additional, supposed to feel like free travel. Of course, if you factor in the cost of things, you're still paying for it, but it is at a significant discount. And, of course, then it's an opportunity for you if you wanted to blow a wad of points in a year or 2 years to do some major big trip or whatever, hot flash. Not even hot lights, it's just hot flash. But, then anyway, back to the story. So you could, plan some really awesome trip. And I was talking to my kids about it after the meeting and everything. They're like, let's go to Africa. Let's go on safari. And all of those things. And actually, they do have that as an option. So it was interesting. They throw in the kitchen sink. They're like, we'll feed you tomorrow. We'll do this. We'll do that. And, it was very, very interesting, I'll say. There's also different other experiences that come with it. So like, say if you booked at a particular place and they have a particular experiences going or concerts going, or like say you went to Vegas and there's a couple of residencies going and that they have to deal with, then you get tickets to the thing included in your stay, right? Or like they said, if we had booked during Formula One, we would have gotten F1 tickets. Oh, who knew, right? And so different other experiences throughout the world that they have going on. So it makes it, incentivizes it a little bit. And then what else? Oh, options to do things like, so you know how sometimes hotels don't fill up, and you, of course, it's better for them to have somebody in there than nobody, and some money is better than no money. So they, said, oh, well, we have some things where if you do last minute travel, I think it's like within a month of whenever you book it, and they can look and see what what rooms are still available within that window of time, that you get something like 75 or 80% off of whatever the room rate would be to, I guess put some butts in the seats, right? Put some people in the hotel rooms. And so you get an opportunity, if you can get away, to really save some money on that. So that was interesting because, sometimes you don't know what you're going to have time for way out in advance, but then within a few weeks or a month, you might be like, well, I could squeeze something. And then if you look and see it's like super cheap, then maybe you do it. And I guess that's sort of similar to, or maybe I'm wrong, you tell me, is that similar to how sometimes like Travelzoo does things? Like they have some deals, but you gotta buy it when, when it's there or it sells out, and then they don't have it anymore. I don't know. I used to follow Travelzoo. I don't think I think they monetized that now. You have to pay for a membership. And I think I was grandfathered for the first year, but now I'd probably have to pay for it. And I don't think I have done that in the last year or so. But tell me if if it's still a good deal to follow Travelzoo to get their discounts. Also, what did they say? So if you purchased, then they offer you like another trip where you get 3 nights at any number of places that includes like everything from Lake Tahoe to Sedona to Maui to Kauai to Colorado to all these different places. Like you would, 3 nights, 4 days. And it's like, this one you sit through an hour meeting, but they've already sold you on the timeshare. So it's not trying to sell you on the timeshare. It's supposed to be an hour meeting where they like orient you to, how to timeshare, like how to use their version, their package of the timeshare. And so they charge you $99 for this 3 nights. But then at the end of the 3 nights, or at the end of listening to their 1 hour thing, they give you back $100 like Visa gift card or something. So in effect, that's supposed to make your trip free. And I think there's like 1 or 2 places that they showed where you might have to pay like less than $100 upgrade, $50 or $100 upgrade to go to that particular location for the 3 nights. But it included up to a 1-bedroom suite. So I guess in my case, if I were doing that, if I had purchased it, I would probably go, with a friend or with, just my son maybe, instead of bringing the couple too. And if it's a 1-bedroom suite, maybe I get the bedroom, of course, and maybe my son uses this pulled out couch or whatever however you work it out, however it goes. But that was interesting too. So, there was all these little additional things, right? Like, you stay at this place, they include some meals. If you do this thing, you can trade some of the points for flights or for cruises or whatever. And then they have all this reciprocity with other chains of resorts throughout the world. So for me, it was interesting just to even learn all of that. And all of the different ways that they try to help you to be able to afford it or finance it if you needed to do that. Not everybody needs to do that, but it was interesting. So that's my little story about what I learned about timeshares today. And the other thing, because I had looked into, sometimes you can find timeshares for pretty cheap or reasonable on a resale. But then I guess some of the companies block some of the additional benefits or incentives things. If you're a purchaser of the resale, it limits like your ability to do certain things or go certain locations and stuff like that. Doesn't transfer. So that was interesting too, but I guess that makes sense, right? If you could get all of the same benefits and buy the thing, like buying a used car, and you've already paid for they've already paid for the depreciation, then why wouldn't you do it that way? So yeah, there it is. You can do with it what you want. Does it sound good to you? I don't know. Does it sound like a no? Meh. But what I can tell you is the resorts that we're staying at we're in Big Island of Hawaii, and the Hilton brand, and so there's multiple resorts kind of in a cluster that are all Hilton, and you can use some of the amenities of more than one of them and go back and forth. So that's been nice, and generally I have found them to be clean and clean, safe, pretty consistent, that kind of a thing. So my grandfather, who's now deceased, used to have stock in Hilton many years ago, and we would go to Vegas quite a bit when I was a little girl. I remember riding in the backseat of the car with my mom, and probably I was that kid like, are we there yet? I might not have said it 15 times, but I was kind of like, well, now if I'm riding up the road from LA to Vegas, I can get there in 3.5, 4 hours, but I got a little bit of a lead foot. But it used to take like 5 to 6. And, when you're a kid, that sounds like forever. But he used to joke about needing to go to Vegas so he could check on his investment. But it was always fun. I think back at the time we called it the Big Hilton. It's gone now. Somebody else owns it and it's something else. But we used to have a youth hotel, and they checked me into that. And it's like, I guess, the predecessor to some of the kiddie game areas that they have to keep the kids busy so the parents can go spend all their money and gamble and everything. But so back to this trip. Hilton's not paying me to talk about it or anything like that. It's just a family memory that came up, thinking about all these things. One of the things that we did do today, though, and all 3 of the kids did it, they did a Dolphin Experience, and they got some really cool pictures of it too. It's fun, but you get in the water with the dolphins, either swim with them if you're a good enough swimmer, or just stand up in the water with them. They'll come play with you. The trainers show you how to have them do little tricks and movements and things, and they'll come up and kiss you or hug you or wave at you, whatever the case may be. And for whatever reason, my daughter had really always wanted to swim with the dolphins, so today she did. And to my surprise, my son, who is not always one to want to do some of these things, was really into it. And so he did it too. And oh my gosh, it made my heart so happy. And I said, did you have fun? He said, oh, I had so much fun. It was so fun. It was awesome. And I just loved that for him. It made me so happy to, because there was a time when he didn't really want to go and deal with crowds. He didn't want to, go out and interact with and do too many different activities, and he didn't want to travel. And now he's like, yeah, Mom, come on, let's go. And I'm like, yes, let's go, let's go, let's go. So that happened. And then, later in the day, without giving too much information, some things devolved in the group. And most of the rest of the day was kind of a little meh. But my son and I went ahead and salvaged the evening, went out to a decent dinner and sat and watched football games. There's still the playoffs to try to get down to who's going to Super Bowl. And so, we saw how those games turned out today. And we kind of also spent some time dreaming about what next vacations would be like and where else we'd like to go. And again, I might recommend maybe doing it in smaller groups. And or, if you're a woman of a certain age like me, and maybe you've had some dreams deferred and some vacations deferred and you're finally gonna go do it, go with who you know is on the same page with you, or go by yourself. But, really just make sure that you get the opportunity to have the experience that you want out of it, especially since you're going to be the one paying for it, right? You get one good go around on this earth that we know of. And so, when you're going to go ahead and take the time away and put the intention into it and the effort into it and everything like that, really also protect yourself, protect your time, protect your space, protect your peace. If you can't relax on vacation, you got problems, right? So I don't know, bring your trash novel that you want, bring your extra flip-flops and your tennis shoes you don't care about getting ruined. Bring your dressy clothes, I'm gonna go out exploring clothes. And just do it all, or do nothing. Just do what feels good to you. It might vary from day to day. Yesterday was action-packed day. Tomorrow might be a do nothing, sit by the beach day, but that's something, right? So, got a couple more days at it. We'll see what else we can get done. What other adventures we can get into. I think I still want to maybe go to at least one more national park that's here and see some waterfalls. Seeing the active volcano was really trippy. It's like, I'm over here, it's normal. Here's a huge cavern in between. And over there, look on the mountain, see all that lava pouring down? It just goes to show you, nature is so wonderful and so diverse, and just you could never see it all. You could never stop learning. We saw a particular flower that only grows on the Hawaiian island. It was interesting. It's red, it has these little prickly things that stick out from it, but it's also pretty. And, who knows what we'll see tomorrow. I'm looking forward to finding out. And I'm looking forward to still working towards radical, what's the book that other young lady had? Rest is Resistance. And other people have various versions of it. My version of it is radical relaxation. We're gonna relax, damn it. We're gonna make it do something. So anyway, come on with me. We're gonna keep adding beauty. We're gonna keep finding ways to add to our wellness, add to our fullness, add to our experience, right? And just really be more of ourselves. I love that. I want to look around. I might go antiquing tomorrow or look at some thrift shops and see if I can find some fun, funky stuff while I'm here. And I might go hiking a waterfall too. We'll see. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to let me know what you're thinking, what you'd like to talk about, what you'd like to hear about, what you'd like to see. I'm going to learn a little bit better about how to do some on-location things, because I've been taking pictures, but like I haven't, mastered doing all of the editing and all the fancy filters and this and that. This is just me talking to my iPhone right now. But we're gonna figure it out and make it a little schmancier as we go. But it's still gonna always be, I'm just gonna keep it real with you because I don't really have the energy to do anything else. And we'll talk soon, probably tomorrow. Have a good evening, and keep adding more beauty to your life.